Well, welcome to Mayor Kirk Wilson retired ramblings. As you know, for my first 3 weeks, they were 5-minute vlogs, give or take a little. Some ran a little longer, where I had the fun opportunity to tell you what I think and what I thought about a lot of issues. And well, I'm still around, but we decided that we just had a countywide election, and that we would use this. We would, number one, lengthen it a little bit, but at the same time give you an opportunity to meet, at least on this show, our newly elected, some re-elected officials. And as you know, today our guest is going to be Vince Difilippo, who is going to be getting his second term as a county commissioner. And I think from the conversations we had, he was happy when election day came and went, and you're a little more relaxed now. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, I am, Kirk. That campaign started almost a year ago.
Okay.
And, I always look at a campaign as being the underdog. And you have to, because you just can't take anything for granted. But I'm glad it's over. The results were good.
Well, I know what you mean. I did take one election for granted. It was a primary. I lost by 2 votes here in Carlisle. But fortunately, there was no Democrat. And a bunch of my Democratic friends wrote my name in, so I was on the general election ballot as a Democrat. But at the same time, I did beat the Republican 2-1. But those days are behind us now. We're looking to the future and to not local government, but to county government. Vince, what was your area of interest or occupation prior to becoming a county commissioner?
Well, 2 things, Kirk. On the public sector, I was a township supervisor in Silver Spring Township.
Growing municipality.
Yes, very much so. And in my private sector life, I was employed by Highmark Insurance Company for almost 31 years.
Oh my gosh. Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
So now you're kind of into a different thing, but you're still dealing with people. We're going to look at the year 2020. The election's over, put that behind us. And not that you didn't work in your past year, but you had the combination of doing your job as county commissioner, and as you said, not putting anything aside, but also doing a job as a candidate so that you could earn your re-election.
Right.
What do you see as one of the major issues that you're going to face as a Board of Commissioners coming up in 2020 and beyond?
Yeah, it's an issue, Kirk, that we don't have direct control over, but something that really concerns everybody in Cumberland County, and that's Interstate 81. The road, through countless studies, it needs to be widened. The accesses need to be improved upon. But until the federal government either passes some type of highway bill and to provide the funding, which is going to be probably $3 billion, the most we can do is keep pushing our state and federal reps to get this done. It has to be done.
Yeah, and my problem is, as someone who's lived here all his life and remembers the area before 81,
right.
I remember when Route 11 was 2 lanes, one lane in each direction, going right through your township.
Right.
But now I'm not very optimistic about this being involved in emergency services, and as you're aware of everything emergency services does in your position.
Right.
Sometimes we just get tired of running those crashes up on the interstate highways, and so we're not real optimistic about the federal government coming through. How do you make them do that? Do you know?
Kirk, if I had that answer, we'd all be smiling right now. But I think we just have to keep pushing at the county level and at the state level, and hopefully we'll get some action. We have to. Interstate 81, handles so much commerce, not just for Cumberland County, the whole eastern part of the country. So it's just not a Cumberland County issue. It's an East Coast issue.
And just traffic in general, even, on our 2 and 3 and 4 lane local roads. The congestion locally is almost unbelievable. The way just getting from Carlisle to Mechanicsburg down to Camp Hill can sometimes take you as long as 20-25 minutes, where you used to be able to do it in 10.
Exactly. It's many folks say that growth is good, and it is, but it also has its consequences, and this is one of them.
Now, Silver Spring is one of the fastest growing townships, I think, in the county.
I think when I left office in 2015, it was the fastest growing township in the state. Yeah.
Okay. And so those are challenges that you kind of have to face now, but in a different regard now that you're a county commissioner.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
As far as the county goes, we'll go from congestion and highways. We're going to go to the western end of the county, and there we're still pretty much agriculture. And I know that you have had the ag community in your heart for as long as I've known you as a county commissioner. Talk a little bit about your interest in that and things that you were able to do to help them out.
Yeah, well, we have a very strong ag preservation program in the county, which is actually it's a state program that we participate in. And just this past year, we reached the 20,000 acre mark of preserved farmland through this program. We're very happy about that. Cumberland County, for those who don't know, has some of the best farmland, not only in our country, but in the world. And agriculture is still the biggest business in Pennsylvania today, so I think that's pretty important. Growth is important. You know, we need business, we need commercial, we need industrial, but we need to keep as best we can as much of our prime farmland, and I will always support that program.
I understand that, and this is not, believe me, directly in your bailiwick, but I remember there was some problem with the agricultural community with runoff and the Susquehanna River and all the way down to the Chesapeake Bay. Now, are you familiar, or steps being taken to try to improve that problem?
Yeah, I know at the county level, our conservation goes out to farms to inspect them, to make sure that their manure management program, that they're doing the right things they need to do with nutrients to the soil. Because, you know, there are some farms, sure, that do help contribute to the problem in the Chesapeake Bay watershed. But we feel confident that the farmers in Cumberland County, at least most of them, are doing what they need to do to keep that level low.
Speaking of the Chesapeake Bay, curious, do you like crabs?
Oh yeah, I love most seafood.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
definitely
cool.
crabs.
So there's definitely a good reason to make sure that whatever goes into the tributaries, we keep it as clean as we can.
Yes, for sure.
What are some of the other challenges that you see facing the county in your upcoming 4 years, or even just next year?
Yeah. Well, we want to keep, you know, running the county efficiently. Cost of everything, as everybody knows, continues to go up. The county has been able to keep its property taxes down unchanged for 6 years. We want to be able to say 4 years from now that we didn't raise county property taxes. So that, to me, is one of our other big issues.
One of the things I've noticed it would be the operation of the county home.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that goes way back in years, the responsibility of county government, and perhaps some might not consider that the responsibility now. And there's been some discussion
Right.
trying to keep it going. Well, what do you see there? How do you feel about that?
Right. Just to start, it's not an obligation for a county to have a county nursing home, though many did, but very few now do have them. And the reason, in my opinion, is because of the reimbursement rates that we get for Medicare and Medicaid have not been increased, or increased very little in the last 10 or 12 years. It's very hard to keep a county nursing home running in the black, but our nursing home is a gem. It's a great nursing home, and as far as I'm concerned, we're going to try to keep it a county nursing home as long as we can, as long as it's financially feasible.
I remember a number of years back, everything centered around the capital budget. You know, improvements were needed. You had to build a new prison. You had to build a new 911 center. There were improvements were necessary at the county home, for instance.
Right.
Do you see a great deal of that in the future? Or do you think that was well planned and that there shouldn't be a great deal of need, excuse me, for that?
Yeah, I think my predecessors did a good job of that, and I think right now still we are looking ahead. We have an incredibly good finance department that keeps us up to date on any red flags that are coming up. The big expense that I see hitting the county here soon is replacement of its radio system.
Okay.
We need to go to the P25 system. We already are in process right now. It'll be completed probably in about 3 to 4 years, but it's going to cost around $20 million.
Wow. I can remember in the old days when you had a walkie-talkie, and
Right.
you were happy to have that. Well, today each one of those little walkie-talkies is in unto itself almost a computer.
Yeah, and they're expensive. They're
Yes.
thousands of dollars.
Exactly. But they're also so vital. I mean, if you stop and think how important
Yes.
they are, whether you're a firefighter, a police officer, emergency medical
Right.
technician, they're your lifeline often, you know. So, any other things that you see coming down the pipeline, so to speak, as far as the county goes?
We just need to, try to balance growth and preservation. One of the things that makes Cumberland County so attractive is all the good things that it does have. We have good schools. We have lots of places to enjoy your time off. We have high employment rates, a good standard of living, and we just want to try to hold on to that as best we can, and I think county government can help.
This is an unfair question to ask, and I'm going to ask it only because it backfired on me when I was an elected official. I was running for for mayor, and somebody said, if there was anything you could do as mayor, what would it be? Well, I thought it would be really neat to have a body of water downtown. You know, I said, oh, wouldn't it be neat if like some of the streets, if there was like a little river? I'm thinking of the San Antonio with the river that winds through it, you know. And so, but how it got turned around in the paper.
Oh my goodness.
I looked like a fool, okay? And so sometimes you got to be careful when you ask a question. So, but I'll still answer it, and I give you that warning, so don't do like I did.
Okay.
But what is the one thing you'd really like to be able to do as a county commissioner?
You know, I would like to see a county fairgrounds with a county flea market and possibly a racetrack.
Oh. What type of racetrack are we talking about?
Dirt
Like
track.
horse dirt?
No, dirt track.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, dirt track.
You mean kind of like replace
Kind
Silver
of like
Spring?
the old Silver Spring racetrack.
Okay.
I think it would work in a certain part of the county.
Now here, I'm thinking you're just going to be a straight guy, you know. I think you could be fun. You know, I never was much one for races because my ears were always sensitive, but that would be interesting, a county fairground. And here, I want to repeat again, these are wild ideas that he has come up with. Yeah, I mean, because like I said, I don't want to find you to find yourself, you know, in the same position, you know, that I was, where it made me look like a fool. But it's good to be, you know, it's good to have some creativity, I think.
Sure.
And,
yes.
That's what makes government work. Well, I think we've kind of touched on just about everything that we could in our allotted time, and County Commissioner-elect Vince Difilippo, we're happy to have you here. We thank you. I expect that as we get operating here and as you get rolling along, we'll be having you and your fellow county commissioners back, perhaps sometimes as a threesome, perhaps sometimes as a twosome, and perhaps just individually. But we're here to inform the residents of Cumberland County about what you're doing, and we'd like to be that. So we thank you so very much. And I would like to thank you for watching Mayor Kirk Wilson Retired's Ramblings, and we will be featuring our county commissioners, our newly elected county treasurer, as well as our re-elected district attorney. So stay with us here